Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we are back with another episode of Hearthstone. Previously on Hearthstone, I started recording an episode and didn't have to go to the bathroom after two games. So I didn't accomplish as much as I would have liked to. We got one victory out of it, which is kind of amazing in itself. But today we're going to do Druid and Rogue. I had already offline done 2 victories here, so let's just play. See how long we can last. You know, sometimes you just have this impending feeling that you're getting sick, and, well, at least I have it. And sometimes I try to shrug it off as just, you know, paranoia that I'm fine. But sometimes I think, nope, it's coming. The big one's coming. Being sick with a normal sickness like a cold or flu is not really as bad as just the anticipation and the periods where you're in between, where you're still walking around, still trying to live your normal life, but you're feeling sick and it's getting out. Once you've gone 100% sick and you're just hiding in bed, you know, potentially vomiting, sleeping, trying to get better. Oftentimes you're so tired and exhausted you can just sleep right through most of the sickness. It's miserable, but I kind of feel like the anticipation's for it.
Powering up! Portals online!
Alright, cheaper mix.
I'll fix you!
With our Cogmaster here, that'll work. But, of course, he could attack him. Then he could attack him. Wouldn't have changed anything either way. Let's see.
Job's done.
Just summon the Demolisher here and end our turn. Flame using a lot of spells, often a problem with
X marks the spot!
Here we
what
go.
am I trying to say? It's often a problem with mages and early players that play the mage, is they use their most powerful cards, which are typically pretty low in mana cost, too early, or they use them on the minions when they should be using on the face. I think to properly play the mage, you want to have about 3 or 4 spells in your hand when you hit the 10th turn, so you can just smash the face and do 15 to 20 damage. Let's see. Can I play 2 things? No, I can't. So I could either play this and do 1 damage to everybody,
So many options.
or I could play this and give my weapon 1 attack. So I guess I want to do none of those things, just summon this,
Here
attack
we
this
go.
one. All that consideration, and I don't even play any of the options I was considering. Now, I understand the mana rate here is getting powered up every spell that a mage plays, but I really don't feel like it's worth it. I don't think the mana rate is a good enough card. Let's see, if I summon this, that's not a combo activator, so I'd have to do this, and that gives me 3. So I could smash the face and then use it, but it would only hurt me. So instead, let's just do this.
Die, land lover!
Ready for program.
done.
Good. I'm already feeling like my new decks are going a lot
I'll
better.
show them.
Good. Maybe the statistics won't show that to be true, but I'm feeling a lot better with my new decks. And so I definitely think Blackrock Mountain helped. If I play this, I can't play this. So maybe I can play this. And
Running the program.
Here we go.
Job's done.
turn. Hard to see how I'd lose this, but there's always a chance. I'm not even having to work that hard trying to win here. Alright. So we play
X
this.
marks the spot. X marks the spot.
Alright. Costs one less for each damage your hero has taken. Well, I guess I'll take a gang up here of these guys.
Here
Smash
we
these guys
go.
in the face. Put the weapon. And it's done. Now he could turn this around. He'll do 14 damage to me, get me down to 10 just between these two. It's not impossible that they still will win. Alright. Do I want to silence this one? Or do I want to summon this one? I guess even at the silence, it doesn't matter. I've technically
Here we
lost.
go.
If I had gotten a poison, deadly poison, we would have maybe won, but no.
Well,
Really came down to the last turn there. That's a shame. But I am destroying minions, so I guess I could have. That's one of the quests. I should have probably done that. Done more. One or two more. There was 5 minions. Let's play the druid now. Technically I'm supposed to get 3 wins. Maybe we'll do the whole episode on air recording that. Maybe we won't. I've gotten kind of blasé with Hearthstone. The whole thing is a little bit of a drag. You've heard me say it before.
versus
As much as they require you to play.
Let's
I saw an article.
I must protect the
I
wild.
didn't retweet it. I do retweet several things in the attempt to share things I see and like and all that. But I saw an article of a guy who had spent like $1,700 on Hearthstone cards in one night, and he's like a rich accountant guy, so it doesn't matter to him, I'm sure. Is what he said. Well, that's what he said. So I don't even have to be sure. I can just say that's what he said. And wow, he was just doing it for every single gold version. He has like every single normal
Job's done.
version of the cards, and he's just buying in bulk to get dust so he can either randomly get the gold versions of the cards he doesn't have or to get enough dust to build it. And he was saying that if you were gonna just use the dust alone as a method, you would probably spend upwards of $10,000 is what he had, which both numbers are just ridiculous. The amount of money you should spend to get every single card should be around $60. The value of an average game. Not $1,000 for a chance to get all the gold. And certainly not $10,000. Nobody should be spending $10,000 on a video game unless you're investing in on it.
For the wild.
I'm just gonna hit this guy in the face. Trying to get rid of him. But yeah, that's just wild. It's a wild, silly way of thinking. What could I do with $1,000? I could probably have. I could have almost certainly doubled the efficiency of how powerful my new computer is. I could have bought probably dozens of games. Let's see. If I bring this out, it's just gonna die.
For the wild.
Yeah, what else could I do with $1,000? I could buy some bonds, maybe buy some stocks, put it in a savings account. I still have some of the DC comic books I wanted to get. I think their little convergence thing, maybe I'll work my way up to that. If that is technically going to be the trades of the new 52, but after convergence I'm wrapping that up. But that's kind of a good thing, because then that opens the door so I can get some more independent things that I have actual interest in reading and I know are going better. I would just like to do the Buffy series really. So start at the beginning, why not? I've watched Buffy the Vampire Hunter several times over my life, and to start from the beginning in comics might be a very new, unique way of doing it versus just going back and watching it on TV again.
My shield for Argus!
Yep, Joss Whedon. Poor Joss Whedon. Everybody says he looks tired. So, what can I say? I hear that he's tired. He's been working too hard, apparently. Needs to take a break. Haven't gone and seen the new Age of Ultron Avengers movie. I've heard some reviews of it, and I'll eventually catch it. Probably not anytime soon. I've lost so much time. So much of my free time trying to make this a career, working as a teacher, that any thought of watching TV, any thought of watching movies, they're very, very much at the bottom. I still do watch TV and movies on Netflix every now and then, but I usually only do it when videos are uploading or my eyes or hands are hurting, and I need to take a break. I'm trying to get as many recordings done as possible per day, pretty much every day that I'm available to do
Valera versus Gul'dan!
which is pretty much every
Your
day.
soul shall be mine.
Watch your back.
I keep taking on more and more work. It's a silly thing to do, I realize, but there's just a lot of old games that I'd like to get done. I'm trying to make my video channel look like it's been around for 5 years, because I should have been doing this 5 years ago. And so releasing 3 old games or oldish games and then doing a new game or 2 is pretty much in line with what I'm talking about. what I'm trying to do. Oh, Mirror's Edge 2 is set to come out now, and that should be very interesting. Hopefully it's a good game and not all that. With my new computer
Come close.
almost assembled at this point, still waiting on the processor.
Job's done.
My hopes will be that I could go back and try Mirror's Edge again and try to record that. Now that I've learned a little bit more about the recording software and will have a more powerful one. So that's one of the two make goods I'd like to do. I'd like to try to do a series of Mirror's Edge. I'd like to try and do the Talos Principle. Again,
Silent,
and
but
see if it's not as trashy
Here
a few
we
months
go.
later. There's a lot of good reasons to do the Talos Principle because of the Serious Sam DLC. Will I get the road to Gehenna? Probably not. I spent almost every last dime I had on the new computer. It's just a sad but true statement is that I was the only person in my life that believed in me enough to spend that kind of money. So I used the last of my savings account, even though I've got no income anywhere close to equal the $1,000+ for the computer. If it's gonna work, I have to take that leap of faith. So that's what I did. I've run a business before, and I didn't take the leap of faith because even I really wasn't that confident in myself. But that business was very different. It had a very limited number of customers, where this YouTube stuff is pretty much open
Valera versus
field to
Thrall.
millions and millions of things.
For Doomhammer.
If I was trying to do
Watch
this
your
by myself, where I had to pay the bandwidth cost and all of that, then that would be kind of the equivalent of my other business. So I just ran that one very conservatively, and then I shut it down. It never took any kind of loans or really invested in itself or required anything. And it made a few dollars here and there, but not enough to live off. Which is sadly still the case of YouTube, is I'm making a few pennies here and there still, but nowhere near enough to live off. Nowhere near enough to even be like a minimum wage job where I worked 1 hour of, let's see. And so this channel definitely needs to grow. I need my fans and people who watch to share this and show it to their friends and get their friends to watch. But I think we might get there. I have some faith that we might actually get there.
For a little while, I pack a big punch. Here I come.
Oh, shoot. I hate when that happens. Stupid mouse. Stupid finger holding the mouse wrong. Yeah, it was totally my fault. Alright. Let's see. This.
I can fix anything.
So that's 3.
Here we go.
So you could kill this one, but there's no real reason.
Here I come.
Yep, doing this YouTube thing is really, I don't know, maybe I'm deluding myself, but I've heard other YouTubers say, every now and then you hear this, and it's just like, people that find what they really want to do with their life versus people that just take jobs, and the people that find what they really want to do with their life all seem to say the same thing, how it was a just horrible experience working regular jobs, and how
Here we
at
go.
least like what they're doing. Here we need to handle some damage here. See, that should help. And that's definitely what this feels like. I get frustrated with video games every now and then. I get frustrated with YouTube or my computer every now and then. But it's nowhere close to the frustrations I had when I was working other jobs. I mean, those were just nightmares. Like, waking up in the morning and just not wanting to get out of bed, just not caring. After a few weeks, months, or years at a lot of jobs, it's just like, I don't even care. Whatever. Fire me if you want to. Those threats that they often would say.
Here we
like,
go.
I don't even care anymore.
I'll fix you.
Oh, this is no good. But yeah, they were nightmares. They were not what I wanted to do with my life. They weren't ever really using the field and the skills that I felt I should be at. Even the jobs where I was working in IT, which is what I wanted to do, it would always be technically an IT job, but there was always this big but in the middle of it. It's like, technically you're an IT guy,
Here we
but
go.
everybody you're working with is going to be super underqualified and unprofessional, or technically you're an IT guy, but really we just want you to dust all the computers and organize our workshop for us. I guess those are the dangers of trying to break into the field. But never could get anybody to take me seriously, take the job that I was trying to do seriously. Working with people sucks. Is a real general way of saying that, but it really does. If you can enjoy the cubicle. Now, I know a lot of people say they hate the cubicle, but the other side of it is horrible. Even if you're like a manager, until you're at the level where you have a secretary
Nature will
and
rise against
you don't do anything all day at all, managing sucks because you're just dealing with people that practically hate you from day one. They may suck up to you when you're around, but they definitely hate you, and usually there's a whole lot of responsibility with no way of you really controlling the outcomes of your work if you're managing, because you have your employees and they're gonna do often whatever they feel like doing, and at best you can try and motivate them, but there's really no way to do it. Jobs suck in general. I am very surprised that people just aren't more on the bandwagon.
What you want?
We should just get rid of the concept of jobs. It's so intertwined with the concept of being paid and taking care of yourself that it is completely a foreign concept to people.
For the wild.
That to even think, what if there was a way where you didn't have to work a job that you hated, but you still could feed yourself and pay your bills and live happily. I mean, it sounds so much like a pipe dream that most people don't even consider it. In fact, they're so intertwined with maintaining their lifestyle that the concept of them not having a job, this thing is considered a bad thing, which certainly it is a bad thing in the way the current systems work, because it means you can't feed yourself or pay your bills. But long range, 100 years down the road, I don't want anybody to have jobs. I want people to have hobbies. If you want to be a scientist and discover something, that should be a hobby. You should get grants to do your hobby because you've proven yourself and you've educated yourself and you have a chance of actually discovering something. Yeah, I don't want anybody to have a job. What a silly thing to say. It's really the truth. You just don't. So if I bring out these two and then play this in the middle, I do not believe it's going to work. For two reasons. That's not a spell, and let's see, is this a beast? No. So
Power flows through me. Limitless power.
just keep this going. But yeah, I don't. Look at like Star Trek, specifically Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Ready for action!
In a lot of ways, I think Star Trek: The Next Generation is kind of not what the ideal future would be, because everybody in the Federation on the spaceships are still kind of working jobs, and it makes very little sense when you consider that replicators exist and you can just replicate all the food, clothing, and shelter you need. And the only way you can really I can resolve that in my mind, is that in the Star Trek universe, all the people that don't want to do anything are at home on Earth playing video games. And it's just the people that take it as a hobby that join the Federation and decide to explore the galaxy. But in doing that, they do kind of let's see, how can we do this? They do kind of give up, I bet, some luxury that they would normally have.
Bathe in flames.
Is that a beast?
Into the breach!
Smash that.
Limitless power.
Smash that.
For the wild.
There we go. That works.
Job's done.
But that's kind of what I would like the future to be. Just, I mean, I could potentially never leave the room I'm sitting in right now if I had a replicator and enough power to run it, and potentially no mortgage payment or any other bills. Just replicate food and
Snakes.
live where I
It
am.
has to be snakes.
Wait till his turn, if I can. Push this.
For the wild.
This. So I have a +2 attack tech, so that's 9 plus 8 is 17 plus 3 is 20 plus another 2 is 22. Should win next turn. Good news. Good news. On the other hand, if you were to look at the future 100 years down the road, and people are still working in factories and struggling and working 40 hours a day, we really messed up, in my opinion, if that's the case. It is. Arguments certainly can be made, and I would be willing to believe them if people said that you can't just get rid of all jobs, all requirements to work, societal requirements that exist now, because it'll just give so much free time to people that we would have more, I don't know, crime, because if people have free time, more arguments, more domestic disputes.
Yes, me and Mr.
It's hard to really believe those arguments, but I mean, I could kind of understand it if somebody was going to try and say that maybe there is a requirement, maybe there always needs to be a requirement to work, but I'd hope it was less than 40 hours a week. I would hope that it got down to something along the lines of, okay, once a month, everybody has to work for 1 8-hour shift. Maybe just an exercise, maybe just as an exercise to say, we want to make sure everybody as a member of society remembers how to be a productive member of society, just in case all of our machines that have automated everything go down. I mean, it's true. We have dishwashing machines right now, but certainly those sometimes break, so people do kind of need to know at least how to figure out how to wash dishes by hand. Plus, our dishwashing machines kind of suck in general. Yeah, I could definitely see that argument. And it might just be kind of a social contract. There are so many of those where it's like we make the argument that because society has managed to provide everything to you through replicators or automation systems of some other sort, that we ask you to give back a token amount of effort. And I can see that, sure. But I don't want my
Job's done.
If I have grandkids, I don't want them working as long as people work today. I don't want them struggling. And that's always a good attitude to have, that surprisingly a lot of people don't. Particularly old people of the baby booming generation, if I'm going to be really specific, have gotten a very selfish kind of mentality where they're like, yeah, we want our kids to struggle, or we don't care one bit if they struggle. We don't want their life to be better. Which is kind of ridiculous, because the generation before the baby boomer is known as the greatest generation. The generation that struggled and really worked to give the baby boomers as much as they could, and this is very much generalization. I'm sure there was some very selfish parents back then, and it is also possible that the greatest generation is really just that generation calling themselves the greatest, and they really didn't do that much effort. But to come out and say it, to admit it straight, that you just don't want your kids to have a better life than what you had,
Here we go.
really wrong. It's really messed up. that's not what I would want for my grandkids. I want them to have an easy life. I don't feel the need in my
Come
thought
close
process,
and
in
listen.
my heart, if we go that way, that they have to work a field or chop a tree down or do anything that is difficult and kind of unnecessary just to grow this quote-unquote character that people sometimes claim. Let's see. Blade. End the turn. Well, I guess that helped a little bit. But, yeah. I want them to be powder pups. I would love my grandkids to, in this fictional thing, I keep saying my grandkids, no reason, but I would love future generations to never have sweat on their brow or calluses on their hands. I would love it if it was a situation where it was just a completely foreign concept to them. I would love, in the same sense that I would love if they never got into a fight or seen anybody fight on TV or whatever. I mean, it would be a very different type of society, but if the concept of violence was going to, that would probably be fine. It's highly unlikely that would ever happen. And that's kind of a pro-censorship argument from someone who's
Here
not
we
pro-censorship, I will admit, but whatever. I don't think inherently in a human being they need to
Come close
know
and listen.
struggle any more than inherently in a human being they need to know violence. I would love for future generations to be all about peace and as the saying goes.
Hurry up! More shield! Online!
Don't think we're gonna win this. How many games?
Job done.
Let's see, this may be game 4. I think I'll give it one more and then I'm gonna call it an episode. But you know what's funny? I'll just say, is I know I get better, but it is already slipping from me. I can just feel myself forgetting what I was talking about just now. I mean, I could not even tell you how I started this episode and started to talk about the last paragraph I talked about. I really do fear that I may be developing Alzheimer's at a very early age or some other memory
Light
thing
shall bring victory.
at a
I
very
must
early
protect
age.
the wild.
But I have pretty much never been able to remember things. You can tell your secrets to me because I won't remember them. It's a very unique way of living your life. Things are subconsciously
injured?
remembered, just not, you can't pull it to the surface. You can't answer if somebody asked you a question. Do I want to use the coin? No, I'm just gonna end my turn.
Is someone injured?
How could I speed up Hearthstone? Is a very good question.
Bathe in in flames.
Job done.
So these episodes would go by faster, or I'd have to play less. I mean, if I could just put Hearthstone on the back burner, if I could make that leap, I would have practically 2 extra days of recording back every week, because every 3 days you're doing 3 recordings. That's possibly all the recordings I would do in a day, a lot of times.
Bathe in flames.
I'm playing as fast as I can. Eventually I am gonna go back to the controller though. I have to. Yeah, eventually I'm gonna have to just go back to the of the controller, so I don't have to use the mouse all the time for every single game. It's pretty much every game at the moment. Yeah, and I say pretty much way too often. That is true. I'm hearing it myself.
For the wild.
Keep on playing. Now, these decks that we've built, they don't win as much as I would like. I will say that. But they do seem to go by faster. And they do seem to win slightly more, so I'm happy. I think we've made some major improvements. And not a ton of it had to do directly with Blackrock Mountain, as much as it had to do with just rebuilding the decks.
Where shall I strike?
What does mind games do? Put a random minion from your opponent's deck into the battlefield. Okay. Starfall.
Job done.
Oh.
Yeah, 17 cards to my 21. With the Druid deck, this would be a pretty good setup to make them run out of cards. But that's not particularly what my setup is designed to do.
Consider.
What you looking at?
Let's see. Let's throw that
Power
there.
flows.
For the wild.
Keep Smash in the face. So the creators of Myst have successfully kickstarted a new game, and I heard about that about, I don't know, about 6 months ago, and then it looked interesting, but then I just pretty much forgot it because the game's not going to be out for probably years. As fast as the actual creators of Myst can work, it could be many years, depending on who they really have in their on their team these days. The truth, I love this, but the truth cannot be denied. The creators that made Myst made it for a Macintosh 2, basically using a slideshow program, and they just don't have the programming skill to make the other games. And I think that's pretty much borne out because I think they kind of sold the rights to make the sequels to other people, and it wasn't particularly them making it. I could be wrong about this. I haven't fully researched this, but that's what it definitely feels like. And I'm pretty sure that very last game was not touched by them at all, Myst 5, because that game looked nothing like any of the previous games. It worked nothing like any of the previous games. It was this very strange end cap to the series. Alright, so I'd love for them to be able to make a game. They're promising to make a game in Unreal 4, but I really doubt it. Maybe they've hired people. Maybe they've got a great team now. I don't know. Maybe they're the ideas guys now and somebody else makes it, and that would be great. So I am a little excited about that. But I am more excited that there is going to be on Hulu a Myst TV series, according to the article I saw, which might just be a rumor, but I don't think so. If they're going to take the story, which is all Myst was. Myst was 99% story and 10% puzzles that were often way too complicated and got in the way of the good story. This could be great. I'd love to see it go 5 seasons. I'd love to see them touch up and fix some of the storylines. I'd love to see them to go different directions with it, because Myst is a wonderful story. I really loved it, and so I'm really excited about that. I'm gonna have to maybe make a Hulu account even. I don't know if you need to. Anyways, I started talking about that right at the end of this episode. We're at 1995. Yeah. What would I do to go back to 1995? I didn't really like the 90s that much, mostly because I was in school, but man, if I could do that, invest in Apple stock, man, just make some millions. Not that I even had a dime to my name as a kid. Yeah, you go back to your childhood, tell your parents, invest in this stock for me. Well, they won't do it. Why would they do it? I wouldn't do it if somebody told me right now to invest in a stock if they were a little kid. Anyways, that's a whole other rant. I am having trouble wrapping up this episode. So that's episode 2, because we had a really short episode and then we had an average short episode. Next episode we're going to play as Priest, Warlock, Druid, and Rogue, trying to finish that up. Anyways, as always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment if you want to. Hearthstone is the thing where I talking about random stuff, so if you want to comment about random stuff and ask random questions, or have me talk about random stuff, this is where to do it. Comment, subscribe, watch every second of my videos. If you want to support me, there's 2 ways you can do that. One is clicking on my name, Rydo. On the right is a blue button that says support this channel, or you can click on the Amazon.com affiliate link down below and shop normally. If you want a friend or follow me on any server, practically any service, that information is down below. You can friend me on battle.net and play me here eventually. Eventually I will have free time and start sending out friend requests when we have some extra time. Whenever that may actually be. Yeah, but that info's below. Thank you for watching. Thanks for listening to me rant again. Have a good evening.